Question time. Would you rather a lion eat you or a tiger? Personally, I'd rather the lion eat the tiger. See what I did there? I took a false choice between death by lion or death by tiger, and I found a third way. So where am I going with this? It's a good question. I'm talking about climate change. Most discussions frame the climate change issue in cost-benefit terms. Would we rather save the planet or keep our living standards? Save the planet or increase profits? Save the planet or lift people out of poverty? In other words, how much are we willing to sacrifice to stop climate change? In rich countries like the United States, both sides of the aisle assume this trade-off between climate action and economic prosperity exists. Meanwhile, the consensus in developing nations, which today account for 2/3 of global carbon emissions, but are only responsible for about 1/5 of historical emissions, is that poorer countries have the right, indeed the obligation, to put economic development above climate action. And this view also assumes that economic growth can only be powered by fossil fuels, and therefore that saving the planet requires economic sacrifice. But just like the lions and the tigers, no bears, I'd argue that this is a false choice. In 2023, there is no longer a systemic trade-off between decarbonization and economic growth. Technological advances have now made clean energy, especially solar power, wind power, and battery storage, cheaper, in some cases much cheaper, than fossil fuels. Until quite recently, high-polluting fossil fuels, especially coal, were by far the cheapest sources of energy available. Renewables didn't come close. In the past decade, the unsubsidized price of electricity from solar and wind declined by 89% and 69% respectively. And the cost of lithium-ion batteries, which are needed to smooth out the intermittent supply of solar and wind energy, principal problem there, has declined by 90%. Now, there are still powerful vested interests that are holding back decarbonization, despite its increasingly obvious economic advantages. Many actors with political pull benefit from the carbon-intensive status quo, ranging from petrostates and big oil to retail gas stations and fossil fuel workers. Fossil fuels still make up 77% of the world's energy production, and for now, the cost of operating existing fossil fuel plants is lower than the cost of building new renewable plants in most, but not all places. Absent policy action, that will remain the case for some years yet. But even without government action, the energy transition is most definitely happening, and is happening without a reduction in our living standards. You don't have to stop driving or ration electricity or eat bugs. Poor countries don't have to stay poor. The opposite is true. Stopping climate change will be big, big business.